Welcome back to Legends and Lore. Imagine stepping into a primeval European forest 2,000 years ago. The canopy is so dense that midday feels like twilight. The air smells of damp earth, pine resin, and the musk of unseen animals. In a clearing, you find a stone altar. Carved into the grey rock is a figure that stops your breath. It is a man, serene and powerful, seated in a meditative pose. But from his head burst the magnificent branching antlers of a stag. This is the image that has haunted the human imagination for millennia. He is the archetype of the wilderness, the untamed masculine, the bridge between the human intellect and animal instinct. He is Cernunnos. While many ancient gods have faded into mere footnotes of history, the horned god remains vibrantly alive in the modern consciousness. But who was he to the ancient Celts? And why does his image still resonate so powerfully today? To understand Cernunnos, we must step deeper into that metaphorical forest, moving past assumptions and looking at the fragmented clues left behind in stone and silver. The greatest challenge in understanding Celtic mythology is silence. The ancient druids, the intellectual caste of the Celtic world, committed their vast knowledge to memory, forbidding it to be written down. What we know of their gods comes almost entirely from their conquerors, the Romans, or from Christian monks recording diluted legends centuries later. Cernunnos is perhaps the most enigmatic of all, because we have almost no stories about him. We have only images and a single name. The name Cernunnos appears only once in the entire historical record. It was discovered in Paris under the choir of Notre Dame Cathedral in the 18th century on a monument known as the Pillar of the Boatman. Dating to around 14 AD, this Gallo-Roman pillar features various deities. One panel shows the head of an older, bearded man with stag antlers sprouting from his brow. From these antlers hang torques, rigid Celtic neck rings. Above his head, a damaged inscription reads, Cernunnos. Linguists generally agree the name means something like the horned one, or the one with the top of his head like a stag. This tells us that his defining characteristic, even then, was his zoomorphic nature. He is a man bearing the attributes of a beast. While the name is in Paris, the most famous image of the god was found in a peat bog in Denmark. The Gundestrup Cauldron is a massive gilded silver vessel made by Thracian artisans around the 1st century BC, but depicting Celtic imagery. One interior panel is the quintessential image of the horned god. He sits cross-legged in a yogic posture. He wears antlers and a torque around his neck, holding a second torque in his right hand. In his left hand, he firmly grips a serpent with the horns of a ram. He is surrounded by a menagerie, a stag, a wolf, perhaps a lion, and a boy riding a dolphin. This image is our primary text for understanding Cernunnos. It is a tableau of dominion over the natural world, a quiet power that commands respect from predator and prey alike. Because we lack written myths, we must read the symbols Cernunnos carries like a language. His iconography is incredibly consistent across the few artifacts we possess. Why antlers? Antlers are different from horns. Horns are permanent. Antlers are shed and regrow every year. In the natural world, the stag's antlers are symbols of immense virility, strength, and defense during the rutting season. But their annual shedding makes them powerful symbols of regeneration and the cyclical nature of life. Cernunnos is not just a static god of strength. He is a god of natural cycles, growth, decay, and regrowth. He embodies the rhythm of the forest itself. The torque is the quintessential Celtic status symbol. Made of gold, silver, or bronze, these heavy neck rings denoted nobility, immense wealth, and perhaps sacred oaths. In the Gundestrup Cauldron image, Cernunnos wears one and holds another. This suggests he is not only a noble god, but a bestower of wealth and power. He is a generous lord. In a society that valued cattle and land, the god of the wild was the ultimate source of abundance. This is perhaps the most fascinating and complex symbol associated with Cernunnos. The serpent, in almost all ancient European cultures, is a chthonic, earth-dwelling creature. Because it sheds its skin and lives in holes in the ground, it is associated with rebirth, the underworld, and secret wisdom. By giving the serpent the head or horns of a ram, an aggressive, virile, domesticated animal, the Celts created a hybrid monster representing a totality of power. It combines the wild underworld with domesticated agricultural strength. Cernunnos, gripping this creature, signifies his mastery over these forces. He controls the boundary between the civilized world and the chaotic regenerative powers of the earth. Based on these symbols, scholars and mythologists have built a profile of Cernunnos as a liminal deity. Liminal means existing at a threshold between two states. Cernunnos is the bridge. He is anthropomorphic, human-shaped, yet zoomorphic, animal-shaped. He is of the forest, yet holds the symbols of civilized wealth, the talk. He sits meditatively, yet is surrounded by predatory beasts. He is widely considered the lord of the animals. He is their protector, the guardian of the forest's soul. Yet, in ancient hunting cultures, the protector of animals is also the one who grants the hunter success. It is a complex relationship. Life feeds on life. Cernunnos oversees this delicate, often bloody balance of the ecosystem. He ensures that the hunt is sacred and that nature is respected, not just exploited. There is also a strong argument for Cernunnos as a god of the underworld, or at least a guide of souls, a psychopomp. His association with the chthonic serpent and his appearance on funerary monuments suggests he may guide the dead from this world to the Celtic otherworld. He is the master of the deep earth, from which both life springs and to which the dead return. If Cernunnos were merely an archaeological curiosity, he would be forgotten by all but academics. But today, he is one of the most recognized and revered deities in modern paganism and Wicca. How did this happen? The revival began largely in the 19th and early 20th centuries, during an era fascinated with occultism and romanticized views of the ancient past. Anthropologists and folklorists began looking for pagan survivals in Christian Europe. A pivotal, though historically flawed, moment was anthropologist Margaret Murray's theory of the witch cult. She argued that the witches persecuted in the early modern period were not devil worshippers, but adherents of a surviving pre-Christian fertility religion that worshipped a horned god. She suggested the Christian church, in its effort to demonize paganism, literally turned the horned god into the image of Satan. While modern historians have largely debunked Murray's specific historical claims about organized witch cults, her ideas sparked a spiritual fire. When Gerald Gardner and others formulated modern Wicca in the mid-20th century, they adopted the horned god as the central masculine deity, the consort to the triple goddess. In modern paganism, Cernunnos has evolved beyond the silent figure on the cauldron. He has become the archetype of the sun's life cycle. Born at the winter solstice, reaching peak virility in summer, and sacrificing himself at the harvest to feed the land, only to be reborn again. He represents untamed sexuality, the wildness within the human soul, and a deep ecological connection to the planet. 2,000 years ago, a Celt looked at a stag in a clearing and saw something divine, a power that was both terrifying and sustaining. They carved that vision into stone. Today, we live in a world largely divorced from that primal reality. Our food comes in plastic, our forests are managed parks, and our nights are lit by electricity rather than fire. Yet, the image of Cernunnos still resonates. Perhaps it resonates because of that disconnection. Cernunnos is a reminder of the mud on our boots, the animal instinct in our brains, and the inescapable reality that we, too, are part of nature's violent, beautiful cycle of birth, death, and regeneration. The horned god does not demand we return to the Iron Age, but he does demand that we remember we never truly left the forest behind. Thanks so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed the video.